In the golden age of radio, danger arrived with sirens. Today, some dangers arrive as whispers. Diabetes is one of them. It doesn't always kick down the door. It turns a few small dials in the background until the system starts breaking. And that's why this video is titled, Early Symptoms of Diabetes You Should Not Ignore. Not to diagnose you through a screen, but to make sure you don't shrug off the early signals that deserve a simple blood test.
All right, let's make this practical. Diabetes isn't just high sugar. It's a slow, sneaky metabolism problem that can quietly damage blood vessels, nerves, kidneys, eyes, and your immune defenses over time. The scary part is how often it hides in plain sight, especially in adults over 55, because the early symptoms can look like normal life. Tiredness, waking up at night, blurry vision that you blame on age, or my skin just takes longer to heal. Here's the simple mechanism you need to understand. Glucose is fuel, insulin is the key. After you eat, blood sugar rises. Insulin helps move that sugar into cells for energy. But in type diabetes, your cells resist insulin, and over time your pancreas can't keep up, so sugar stays in the blood. Then your body starts doing weird workarounds, like dumping sugar into the urine, dragging water with it. That's why the warning signs show up where they do. Now let's hit the symptoms. Fast, clear, and with the why behind each.
Picture a dashboard at night. No alarm. Just tiny lights. Most people keep driving. It's probably nothing, they say, but diabetes is famous for being quiet early, sometimes so quiet there are no symptoms at all, which means the goal here isn't fear, it's timing. Catch it early, and you can change the story. Catch it late, and the story changes you.
Symptom 1. Unusual fatigue that doesn't match your day. Not, I slept bad once, I mean a persistent drained feeling, low stamina, heavy body, brain fog. Why? Because if insulin isn't doing its job, your cells can't use glucose efficiently. You've got fuel in the bloodstream, but your tissues act like they're running on empty. Plus, high blood sugar creates metabolic stress that just makes everything feel harder. Here's the key. Fatigue becomes meaningful when it's new, persistent, and unexplained, especially if you notice it alongside other symptoms on this list. If you're over and you're thinking, I shouldn't be this tired, don't gaslight yourself. Fatigue can be 100 things, sure, but diabetes is common enough that it deserves a check. The move isn't panic. The move is asking for a simple A1C or fasting glucose test. You're not hunting for drama, you're hunting for clarity.
In old medical posters, diabetes was drawn like a thief, slipping into the house while everyone slept. That metaphor holds. The body doesn't always scream. Sometimes it negotiates, it compensates, it adapts. And those adaptations, those little compromises, become the symptoms you can actually notice if you know what to look for.
Symptom 2, peeing more often than usual, especially at night. If you're suddenly waking up to use the bathroom more than you used to, don't instantly blame getting older. Here's what happens. When blood sugar rises high enough, glucose spills into the urine. Water follows sugar, so your kidneys pull extra water out with it. That means more urine, more dehydration risk, and more nighttime bathroom trips. Symptom 3, being thirstier than usual, even after drinking. This often pairs with the bathroom thing. You pee more, you lose fluid, your mouth feels dry, and your body cranks up thirst signals to compensate. If you catch yourself thinking, why can't I quench this? That's not a vibe, that's physiology. The pattern matters. Thirst plus frequent urination is a classic combo that should trigger testing, not I'll wait and see, especially if it's ramping up over weeks or months.
The kidneys, those tireless filters, were never designed to be sugar disposal units. Yet, when the bloodstream gets crowded with glucose, the body improvises. It dumps, it drains, it dries. And people mistake the warning for a simple inconvenience, an extra trip down the hallway at night.
Symptom 4. Blurry vision that comes and goes. This one trips people up because it's not always constant. One day you're fine, the next day your vision feels off, sometimes worse after meals. High blood sugar can mess with the tiny blood vessels in the eyes and can even shift fluid balance in the lens, changing how light focuses. The result, blurry, fluctuating vision. Here's the rule. Any new unexplained vision change deserves attention. If it's intermittent, don't let that fool you. Intermittent can still be real. And quick reality check. Blurry vision can come from many causes: dry eyes, medications, blood pressure changes, but diabetes is common, and eye tissue is sensitive. So if your eyes are sending confusing signals, add blood sugar to the list of things to verify. That's not catastrophizing. That's being an adult with a brain.
Eyes are not just windows to the soul, they're windows to the bloodstream. Tiny vessels, delicate nerves, tissues that demand precision. When blood chemistry shifts, the eyes often notice before the rest of life catches up.
Symptom 5. Tingling pins and needles, or numbness, often starting in the feet. If you get burning, tingling, or numb patches, especially worse at night, your nerves might be complaining. High blood sugar can injure nerves over time. And the starting point is often the feet because they're the farthest from the heart and the most vulnerable to circulation and nerve stress. Now, lots of things can cause numb feet, pinched nerves, B12 issues, spine problems, but here's what makes diabetes suspicious. It's gradual, it's persistent, and it starts to feel like your socks are thicker even when they're not. If you notice this, plus anything like thirst, frequent urination, fatigue, or blurry vision, don't play detective at home. This is where a clinician plus lab work saves time. Nerve symptoms are not something you want to wait out.
Nerves are storytellers, and they tell stories in strange languages. Tingles, zaps, numbness, heat without flame. When the bloodstream runs too sweet for too long, nerves can become the first messengers to suffer and the first to warn.
Symptom 6. Cuts, sores, or wounds that heal unusually slowly. If a small cut lingers, if skin cracks don't close, if a foot sore just won't settle, take that seriously. Diabetes can damage blood vessels, harm nerves, and weaken immune response. That combo makes healing slower and infections more likely. Symptom 7. More frequent infections. Think recurring UTIs, yeast infections, skin infections, fungal rashes that keep returning. High blood sugar stresses immune function, and extra sugar can also help certain microbes thrive, especially in urine and moist skin areas. If you're getting round 2 and round 3 of infections, don't just treat the infection, ask why your body is suddenly so welcoming to it. This is one of those moments where a basic blood test can reveal a hidden driver. And if you've got a foot wound with redness, warmth, swelling, drainage, or significant pain, don't wait. Feet plus diabetes is a combo you respect.
In the archives of medicine, slow healing was once a mystery. Wounds that refused to close, infections that returned like unwelcome guests. Today, the mechanism is clearer. Circulation, immunity, chemistry. Yet the experience is the same. The body asking quietly for a closer look.
Symptom 8. Feeling unusually hungry, even soon after eating. This one sounds weird until you remember the core idea: fuel is present, but access is blocked. If insulin resistance keeps sugar from getting into cells efficiently, your tissues can still signal, "We need energy," even if your bloodstream is loaded with glucose. So you eat, and you still feel hungry. Now, hunger alone isn't diagnostic, but hunger plus fatigue, thirst, frequent urination, or unexplained weight change? That's a pattern, which leads to symptom 9, unexplained weight changes. Some people gain weight gradually with insulin resistance. Others lose weight without trying when diabetes is more established, because the body can't use glucose normally and starts breaking down stored energy. Either way, "I didn't change anything but my weight changed" is a reason to investigate, not self-blame. If any of this is ringing bells, remember, you don't need all 10 symptoms. Even one persistent, unexplained symptom can justify testing.
The human body is a master of mixed messages. Hunger without need. Weight that shifts without permission. The scale becomes a cryptic telegram, but patterns, repeating, persistent patterns, are the language of biology. Learn the language, and you learn when to act.
Symptom 10. Darkened, velvety skin in folds, neck, armpits, groin. This is one of the most visually loud early clues, and people often dismiss it as dirt, aging, or friction. It can be acanthosis nigricans, which is strongly associated with insulin resistance and can show up in prediabetes or type diabetes. If you notice these patches, especially if you also have other symptoms or risk factors, don't just scrub harder. That's not the fix. The point is to check what's happening metabolically. Now, let's debunk a few myths fast. Myth: if I had diabetes, I'd definitely feel it. False: symptoms can develop slowly over years or be so mild you ignore them. Myth: prediabetes isn't a big deal. Also false: prediabetes increases risk for type diabetes and cardiovascular problems. Myth: I'll just fingerstick at home and diagnose myself. Nope. Home meters can't diagnose diabetes properly. You need clinical blood tests.
The oldest trap in modern health is the phrase, "I feel fine." Many conditions don't ask permission before they begin. They simply begin. Diabetes can be like that, quiet, gradual, plausible. And so the smartest move is not guessing, it's measuring.
So what should you actually do next? Here's the clean step-by-step. Step 1. Pick one action today. Schedule a visit or lab draw and ask for A1C and/or fasting glucose. A1C reflects average sugar over about 2 months, and fasting glucose checks your baseline after at least hours without calories. Step 2. Bring useful info, not panic. Write down what symptoms you noticed, when they started, and whether they're getting worse. Step 3. If it's prediabetes, treat it like a pivot point. Prevention isn't a motivational poster, it's evidence-based. Structured lifestyle programs have been associated with big risk reductions, and the effect is especially strong in adults over 60. And quick emergency note: severe confusion, extreme dehydration, or being very ill with very high sugars can be an emergency situation. That's not early symptoms. That's get help now. Bottom line, don't let the quietness trick you. Quiet problems still cause loud damage later.
And so the final message is simple. The real danger with early diabetes isn't that it's dramatic. It's that it's easy to ignore. The body whispers first: fatigue, thirst, blurry vision, a wound that lingers, a nighttime routine you didn't choose. When you notice the pattern, you don't need fear. You need a test, because a blood test can give what guessing never will: clarity.